A shock in the yards. The fast controller always wants his railway to run smoothly and efficiently. He keeps an eye on everything the engines do. And if anything goes wrong, he's always there to sort things out. Every job needs to be done properly, and sometimes the engines have to deal with who's doing which job. One day the fat controller came to Tidmouth's shed with bad news. "There's more work to be done here," he explained, "and you all won't be able to cope with it, so I have had to bring in some help." The engines were all worried. They didn't like being overworked. "Who's going to help us, sir?" asked Percy. "I have had to ask Stepney to come and help us," said the fat controller. "Unfortunately, there are no other engines available, so a diesel engine will be coming to help." "Yes, sir," sighed the engines. They didn't like the sound of this. "Diesel engines are nothing but trouble," groaned Gordon. "I won't like this at all," agreed James. "But I guess we'll have to put up with it until Stepney arrives," put in Thomas. Later, Emily, Duck, Donald, Douglas and Percy were all at Knapford Station ready to start their journeys. Then they heard a toot from behind. The diesel purred into the platform. It was Bowler. Bowler rattled to a stop in front of the fat controller. "Hello, sir," smiled Bowler. "I'm here to help out." "Hello," said the fat controller. "Now I need you to help out with the passengers. Thomas will collect your passengers at Elsbridge Station." "Yes, sir," said Bowler. "I'll prove my usefulness to you and your steam engines." The engines were cross. "Are you here?" moaned Percy. "I'm here to work," said Bowler, "just like you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have passengers to collect." And he chugged away to collect his coaches. "What a mean diesel he is," sniffed Donald. "Eh?" agreed Douglas. "It won't be long before he causes trouble." "You know that diesel?" asked Emily. She had never met Bowler before. "His first visit was a rude one," explained Doc. And he and the other engines told Emily all about Bowler and what happened a long time ago. Emily was surprised to hear this, and agreed that he wasn't a good diesel to work on the railway. Soon, Bowler was rolling along the line with his passengers. He was enjoying himself very much. He passed Murdoch with a heavy goods train. Murdoch took no notice of him. "Silly steam engine," sighed Bowler. Soon he chugged into Elsbridge Station. Thomas was there waiting for him. He wasn't happy to see Bowler. "Come now, Thomas," smiled Bowler. "Don't let me ruin your day. I brought you your passengers." "That's all I'm happy about," puffed Thomas. "Passengers are very important. You should know that." "We diesels are always aware of what job we're doing," scoffed Bowler. "We are very reliable." Then the guard blew his whistle and Bowler chugged away tooting his horn. Gordon was nearby with the express, and James and Henry were double-heading along the train of coal trucks. They had heard everything and were not happy at all. "Disgraceful," puffed Gordon. "Disgusting," put in James. "Despicable," finished Henry. Thomas agreed and was very concerned. "I'll be glad when Stepney arrives," he said. "He'll be able to make us feel happy again." But Stepney was having problems of his own. His fireman had been taken ill, and now Stepney was without a fireman. "I'm going to be late," he sighed sadly. "The fat controller will be cross." "We'll try and find a replacement to help out whilst your fireman gets better," said the inspector. "Until then you'll have to wait." Stepney looked at his buffers, but his driver could see he was worried. "We'll try our best to find another fireman as fast as possible," soothed his driver. "I hope the engines are getting on all right," thought Stepney to himself. But when the fat controller heard the news, he was shocked. "Well then, we'll have to manage on our road until Stepney arrives," he said. "Work as fast as you can, please." Meanwhile, Emily was pulling passengers to Crome's Gate station. As she puffed into the station, she saw Rheneas puffing behind her. Emily hardly met many of the little engines before, but had heard lots about them. When Rheneas pulled up, he saw Emily wasn't happy. "Hello, Emily," puffed Rheneas. "What's the matter?"
"We've got a rude diesel on our railway,"
said Emily. She told Rheneas all about Bowler and about what he had said. Rheneas didn't like this at all. "Sounds like one rude diesel engine," he exclaimed. Then the two engines heard a horn from behind. It was Bowler. He was pulling the passengers into the station platform opposite Emily. There were lots of people on the platform and Emily was worried.
"I have a feeling the passengers won't like him at all,"
she thought to herself. Emily didn't see that a small boy was on the centre of the platform with his mother. He was holding an ice cream and he couldn't wait to get on the train. Bowler saw the passengers and saw his chance to prove his usefulness, so he took a deep breath and blew his horn. The sound of the horn made the little boy jump and made his ice cream fall onto the floor. Some other passengers were shocked by this and the porter accidentally ran right into the wall. The little boy was so upset he ran to his mother. "Mummy, I don't like this diesel," he cried. "He made me drop my ice cream." The boy's mother walked over to Bowler and shook her fist at him. "You noisy, horrible diesel!" she shouted crossly. "You made my little boy very upset. We won't ride on you today." Before Bowler could reply, all the passengers raced over to Bowler and began to shout and boo at him. They told the porter and the station master what a bad diesel he was. "We don't want to ride this diesel engine," they shouted. "He has very bad manners," said a man in a suit. "He has no respect," agreed a lady with a walking stick. "We want a steam engine," shouted some children. Emily couldn't believe what she was hearing, and even Rheneas couldn't help but laugh. "Things look very bad for Bowler," chuckled Rheneas. Emily looked at the situation. She agreed with Rheneas, but was worried about the passengers.
"What are we going to do?"
she wondered.
"If the passengers don't catch their train, they will be late."
The passengers complained so much that they were giving Bowler such a headache. He didn't want to hear them complain anymore. He wanted them to climb on board his coaches. "I want to get going," he cried. "Oh, be quiet, you dirty little diesel!" shouted the boy's mother. "You have no right to be pulling passengers!" Before the next passenger could reply, there was a loud, shrill whistle in the far distance. "What's that?" Rheneas asked. Emily wasn't at all sure. She tried to see through the smoke. The passengers tried to look as well. Then the whistle got louder and louder until everyone could hear it. Then, out of the steam and from around the corner, everyone watched as Stepney puffed happily into view.
"It's Stepney!"
whistled Emily happily. "Hello, Stepney!" cheered Rheneas. "It's the Bluebell engine!" cried the children. Everyone waved and cheered as Stepney puffed into the station. He could see all the passengers waving to him and cheering loudly. "Hello, everyone!" whistled Stepney. Then he saw Bowler looking very cross. "Well, well, well," he chuckled. "Sounds like you've caused quite a stir in the station." Bowler said absolutely nothing. Then the Fat Controller arrived. He came to see what all the noise was about. The boy's mother came over to see him. "This diesel here upset my poor little boy and made him drop his ice cream," she explained. "He made such a rude entrance," said another passenger. The Fat Controller spoke to Bowler. He was cross. "I thought I could trust you with passengers," he said sternly, "but it seems you can't be trusted at all." Bowler didn't know what to say. Then the Fat Controller looked at his watch. "This train is very late," he said. "Now how can we get this train going again?" Then Stepney puffed eagerly forward, close enough to the Fat Controller. "Please, sir, I can take the passengers to their station," he suggested. "I'm a fast but steady engine, and I can make sure they arrive on time." The passengers were very happy to hear this, that they all turned to the Fat Controller and all hoped he would say yes. The Fat Controller thought about this, and then he smiled. "Very well then," he said. "Stepney, find a turntable and then come straight back here." "Yes, sir," smiled Stepney, and he raced away to find the turntable. The Fat Controller then turned his attention to Bowler. "As for you, Bowler," said the Fat Controller, "you shall go straight back and I will tell your controller what you have done." "Oh, bother," sighed Bowler to himself. His driver uncoupled him from the coaches and Bowler chugged away. The passengers all booed and hissed him as he left the station. It wasn't long before Stepney returned. He was coupled up to the coaches and all the passengers climbed on board. Stepney looked around and saw that Emily and Rheneas had both gone. Stepney blew a small wheeze of steam. "I'm really worried," he said. "What if I don't make it?" "Don't let that worry you," smiled his driver. "The passengers are relying on you. I know you can make them feel better again." "You can do it, Stepney!" cheered the porter. Stepney felt better after hearing this. He drew up his steam and got ready to go. Then the guard blew his whistle and Stepney puffed out to the station with the coaches. "Do your best, Stepney," called the station master. He watched as the train slowly puffed around the corner. Stepney quickly felt the drag of the heavy coaches, but he didn't let that bother him. "Let's get the passengers home," he called to his driver. "Here we go then," replied his driver. Stepney soon picked up speed and was soon racing along the line. He raced past Neville with his goods train. Neville gave a cheerful whistle. "Go, Stepney, go!" he cheered. Stepney rounded the bend and raced past the level crossing. The people in the cars tooted their car horns and waved and cheered as Stepney passed by. "I can do it! I can do it!" smiled Stepney happily. "That's my boy," encouraged his fireman. The passengers leaned out of the window and cheered. "Hooray for Stepney!" they cheered. Stepney heard this and urged on ahead. At Stafford Station, Gordon was waiting for Stepney and the passengers. They were late arriving. This made him cross. "Lateness will not please the Fat Controller," he huffed. Now, Gordon," said his driver. "They're doing their best. We must be patient." Then Gordon heard a loud whistle from behind. It was a whistle he knew well. "It's Stepney!" he cried happily. And it was. Stepney puffed happily into the station with the heavy train. As the train stopped, the passengers burst out of the train and ran straight to Stepney. They all cheered and clapped loudly. "Thank you, Stepney," smiled the passengers. "You're our hero," the children agreed. The Fat Controller, who had been on the train, came to see Stepney. "Stepney, you have saved the day," he said. "You got everyone here, better late than never, and in time for Gordon's next train." "Thank you, sir," smiled Stepney. "As a reward, you may stay on my railway for a little longer," the Fat Controller finished. "You will also be given a new coat of paint, and I will put you in charge of the passenger train to Coleridge Station." Stepney was so happy, his steam swirled around his wheels. Then he saw the little boy and had an idea. He whispered his plan to the Fat Controller and his driver and fireman. They all happily agreed. The Fat Controller turned to the little boy's mother. "Stepney would like to know if you would like to take a picture of your little boy in his cab to cheer him up," said the Fat Controller. The little boy was so excited he turned to his mother and begged her to agree. The boy's mother happily agreed, and so everything was arranged. Soon he was standing in Stepney's cab with the driver and fireman, and the boy's mother got out her camera and took the photograph. The photograph was taken and everyone cheered. "Thank you, Stepney," smiled the little boy. "You are my favourite Bluebell agent ever." Stepney blushed. His face went red, but the passengers all smiled at him. "You made my little boy very happy," smiled his mother. "Thank you."
Anytime, Mum,
smiled Stepney. 3 cheers for Stepney, the really useful bluebell engine, cheered the Fat Controller. Everyone cheered and clapped, and the little boy waved happily to Stepney. Stepney felt very happy indeed, for he truly was the hero of the day.